Cloud9, but it seems so unlikely. Cloud9 have been playing excellently so far, and they're going to begin on the attack. Again, with this 2-2-2 composition that they have been running for the majority of the event, xepheR and Gods have been having amazing performances on the Genji Tracer so far.
Well, the triple tank setup out of Hammer is actually set up towards that left-hand side, trying to stick together and maybe hold this choke point, which ChrisTFer already is able to pick up a kill onto Adam here, using that new walkway, what do you want to call it, the new path to get into Eichenwalde. And our God's being hooked in. I don't think they expected that one.
Snizzlenose is an excellent Roadhog. The team has been playing less around it because it requires them to play tanks and kind of defend him a bit more, but we saw them play like a half dive, half back with Snizzlenose as well. They really enjoy playing around him because it plays to their strengths, which is him. He's so fantastic at getting individual key picks.
He's also really good to deal with KAISER, with the Winston in particular, not to mention if you can just hit xepheR or Gods with it. Once it puts you off to a good start. Here we go, Hook gonna come in, gonna be able to get the D-suit onto xepheR.
Their positioning forced back a little bit, but able to come out with a couple of the kills. The D-Mech on xepheR is absolutely crucial as well. And a hook around this new path. Instantly deleted. There's ChrisTFer though, and that's the Reinhardt gone from this composition. Really key pick for them. That's forced the sound barrier out as well. Another hook coming out from Snizzlenose. Deletes xepheR. He's got his ultimate up now as well.
Well, you put the D-suit on xepheR earlier on. They didn't pick up the kill, which is really unfortunate for them because it could have helped them maintain this point a little bit longer. Snizzlenose needs to wait for a little bit more backup to come back in as the Reinhardt player. ChrisTFer will finally rejoin into the team, but they have the nano boost, they have the whole hog. If they can D-suit xepheR again, they're looking very good to hold this point.
Here comes the Transcendence coming out from Roolf. They know that there's no sound barrier here to block the Dragon Blade as he comes in behind. God's getting a good value out of that. Snizzlenose already falls. They're getting a couple more picks.
Oh, crap. He's got it. Is he going to use it?
Oh, he dies to the self-destruct, deciding that there really wouldn't be the follow-up there if he used it, right? The rest of his team's already fallen. He's better off saving it for this next part, but it does mean that he has to stick with it. And in general, the composition is now going to be the same because teams would normally want to go for something with a bit more mobility once they get into this second segment. But having the Graviton there is such a powerful ultimate that they want to go for this one at the very least.
And they have to contest right away if they want to use it too. They cannot let Cloud9 get this high ground control. We did see even the nano boost put onto Fischer to help him charge up this Graviton a little bit quicker. He has to be so careful. Those xepheR's just waiting. He's got his defense matrix up, and he throws it into the payload actually to catch him off guard. They get the pull onto two people, but no kills to follow up with just yet. ChrisTFer waiting with his Earth Shatter, but does he want to commit such a crucial ultimate at this point of the map?
If they can bait it out of him, they'll attempt to. Cloud9 so far have been very good at drawing other teams in, baiting them to use large ultimates and being able to disengage. It's been crisp execution all tournament long, but there's xepheR hooked in. Snizzlenose healing himself back up as well. The D.Va gets D-mech'd, and they force out the sound barrier really early on, actually, and they've still got that Earth Shatter. That just went straight into a wall, I think. ChrisTFer get nothing out of that.
Yeah, now Gods is looking for the Dragon Blade here. In the meantime, Nesh with the Pulse Bomb is just waiting for his opportunity to pounce. Just like a lion in the Serengeti waiting to pop this Pulse Bomb onto someone, but I imagine he's going to be saving it for now because he's lost too many teammates. There's no way they can hold on to this payload, and we will see it start to push up further, but Fischer, more importantly, still sticking on the Zarya. I actually didn't expect that. I thought they would switch up a little bit more, considering they were going to lose a lot of control.
So did I. I thought that Fischer would be going on to Soldier 76, maybe run a kind of even half tanky, half flexible composition so that he can contest the high ground at the very least. Choosing not to do that, but it was a very good stall from Hammers. They were able to really draw out the time massively, and they're using their health pools to be able to contest this, can't delay them again and again.
Oh! ChrisTFer from downtown, it's a random charge on the roll. I mean, it's not going to stop their tracks of his push, but it's going to be annoying for that man.
Cloud9 as well. They've managed to clear their path now for a little bit. We're probably going to see some switches up from Hammers now. Fischer's moved over to the Winston. This is the comp that they were running towards the end of a couple of their previous series. They like to run the Reinhardt alongside the Winston. Gives them a little bit more dive into the backline while still giving them a front line that they can stay behind. Bit better for the Ana, perhaps.
We saw Fischer there actually saving his jump just so he can fall in from the bridge. But Gods again, we pop that Dragon Blade down. Oof. Oh my lord,
That's
ChrisTFer.
the second time.
He catches xepheR this time as he gets slammed into the wall. But in the meantime, he's lost the rest of his team. The Earth Shatter is going to be good. He connects on to quite a few people, but he's not in a position to pick up the kills just yet. The Fire Strike, I think it got eaten by the Defense Matrix. He doesn't get the kill over onto Adam, and they're going to continue to push forward.
Oh, that's such a crucial gobble up of that Fire Strike from xepheR because it was so close to killing Adam. Roolf with a pre-fire there as well, but Fischer's back in the fight. They're going to want to commit to this one, try and stop it before it gets to the second checkpoint.
I don't know if they have the HP to do this one. There's too many ultimates available for Cloud9 as well. Self-destruct going to come in just to zone them off even further. So ChrisTFer will fall. Still contested in the meantime as Shaz was there, but eventually get the checkpoint. And I was actually talking to Roolf between games saying, your Zen was on fire. You were literally popping heads the entire last match. He's like, yeah, I don't know what was with me, but I was just hitting every shot. He seems to be doing it yet again here, especially if you can shut down a Tracer. Like, a Tracer like Nesh caliber, who can be such an annoyance to your backline, to Roolf and to Adam in particular. It's always a good start to have if you can initially get that kill.
Another switch up in the compositions means that Fischer and Shaz's ultimates are reset as they move over to the Zarya and the Zenyatta here. Cloud9 with a huge amount of ultimates come in, engage with the sound barrier. They're getting a couple of picks as Gods again with the Dragon Blade, again getting value out of it. Really just maximizing the amount of kills that he can get every single time with this one. Hammers, they've got their backs up against the wall, but at least they've got a sound barrier.
Can they stop this push? They do have Primal Rage out of KAISER to keep them in towards that position if they do want to, though he's actually going to be coming around towards the high ground, going up the staircase, trying to play from a different position, different spot. Transcendence can be popped out of Roolf just to keep him healthy. Meantime, ChrisTFer's going to look for that charge, but not going to land onto anyone. He's actually very low in HP as well with that help of that Discord Orb. Chunk away at him. Gods picks up the kill. Another pulse bomb comes through, but doesn't connect.
Fischer's on such high energy. If he manages to get anything, look at that though. The self-destruct from xepheR picks up 2, and the D-Mech completely wipes open the path to the payload. And they managed to get that in a very reasonable time. Eichenwald, super difficult map to actually complete, and they still do it with 1 minute and 44 left.
All right, so now looking into Hammer as they're going to the attacking side. I don't know. I don't know how I felt about the triple tank setup that they had. I like the divey comps they were running earlier on. I liked Fischer on Genji quite a bit when we saw him in the qualifiers.
Definitely. I think, particularly on Eichenwald's second, where the mobility and the ability to get up onto the castle and be able to contest from the high ground and constantly retake it is so important. The fact that they were using triple tank there, yes, it's good for when they're contesting down near the portcullis, but after that, it's not as useful. And they got steamrolled and snowballed all the way to the second checkpoint and beyond without really being able to stabilize.
I think, though, Hammers had a good response to xepheR for the most part, which we saw earlier on against Misfits. They were really struggling against this diva. The Roadhog he was pulling off. The hooks he was hitting, he was constantly desuited him, but the follow-up kill wasn't there a lot of the times, and xepheR was able to get that resuit back off. And obviously, they struggle with Gods 100%, Gods and Surefour together. And you look at, when these transcendences are being used, and still Cloud9 are playing around these perfectly. They know when these support ultimates are up, which allows Gods to just excel every time.
Yeah, they seem to have impeccable tracking of enemy ultimates, particularly the support ults, and their ability to force them out on the opposing team without applying any ultimates of their own, just sheerly through pressure applied to the right targets, as being able to get damage onto the tanks or damage onto the supports so that they feel they have to pop these hugely important ultimates that are mostly going to be defensive when a team's running Zen Lucio. They can then just follow in with their ultimates as they please and be able to pick up a huge amount of kills. They're going with a slightly more tanky comp themselves, a 2-2-2 setup here for Cloud9 on the defense.
And Hammer's still going to be committing into the triple tank with Snizzlenose on that Roadhog yet another time. xepheR, though, switching things up, going away from the Diva, going to a Zarya. So, like I said, they still have the 2-2-2, but a little bit of an adaptation. xepheR should definitely have the opportunity to pick up a hell of a lot of energy and also mitigate a lot of potential damage that Snizzle can do, which he didn't have an ammo to get that shot off to KAISER as he got poked back in. But Nesh gets the kill in a Roolf.
But Nesh has got into the back lines and taken down Roolf, yeah, so that's really opened things up. They've got no healing for the tanks that they've decided to use there other than Adam. And KAISER and xepheR are both incredibly weak, just getting chipped down now as Hammers make their way onto the point. Already secured 1 tick. Probably going to be some kind of re-engage here from Cloud9, as Gods has been taken down and he was given the bubble to see if he could escape. Looks like Hammers have fairly easily taken that one after the initial pick onto the Ana.
Yeah, looking very good, actually. Question comes down to, for them, can they continue this progress? Can they continue this momentum here into the second phase? They don't have a lot of control. This is the downside of their comp, right? It works really well in the first point, but coming into second, when you have only Nesh to get high ground control or high ground positions to actually contest that area, it leaves a lot to be desired, and it allows Cloud9 a lot of freedom.
Oh, Snizzlenose destroying xepheR there, getting the early hook in. Cloud9's aggression not quite paying off so far. They haven't managed to delay the card, and any time is great if you can manage to shave that off second by second. But Hammers are building up their ultimates as well, and they have huge power. Nesh into the backlines as well, seeing if he can get up onto any of these supports. Hammers are finding the kills in the end here. They're managing to turn this around for themselves, keep that payload moving.
Roolf actually just suicides instead of giving over any ult percent, but as you can see, Hammer already have 3 of them. ChrisTFer is getting really close to his Earth Shatter, which KAISER is going to be mimicking him when it comes to the Reinhardt v Reinhardt battle. So now another chance for Europe to show what they've got in terms of Rhines. And Nesh has been sitting on that post bomb for a little bit of time here. And Snizzle, I mean, if they fight on this bridge, he has the potential to knock quite a few of them off.
It definitely does. Cloud9 coming up top. There goes the pulse bomb. Oh, it did actually catch onto Roolf as well. I think that was just laid on the floor and he stood on it like an IED. Blown up. Hammers with a couple more ultimates are going to continue to move their way forwards. Snizzlenose with the whole hog as well, just pushing everybody back. Already found 3 kills actually. And Hammers continuing the movement forwards. They're unstoppable.
Wow, 5 minutes and 45 seconds to finish off this map. They even had an Earthshadow to close it out if they did need it, but now KAISER's going to have his available, so it's going to come into a battle of the shields. Meantime, Surefour, Gods, and Roolf all ready to go, and we do have the transfer Shaz, so if Gods does use his blade, ideally Shaz should be saving it for the situation. Nesh, unfortunately, doesn't have that post ball to pair in with Fischer, but there we go. That's going to be the nano blade coming in. The sound barrier going to be used instead of the Transcendence, and no one still died off the back of that, though.
Yeah, they caught Gods in the Graviton Surge at the back. Fischer made sure that he used it completely neutralized. He'd already used his Swift Stride to get into there, so he wasn't able to escape either, and Hammers are going to be able to get this one all the way, it seems, or at least around the corner at the very least. Cloud9 have still got a huge amount of ultimates here, including the Graviton and that sound barrier, so they should be able to re-engage onto this, but just, they can't afford to let the car get any further.
Surefour behind them, though, with the pulse bomb going to come in with the help of the ground to surge. Going to get one on a tomzeY, so looking for them so far. The second support will go down, and Cloud9 look to stabilize here as the payload was only 1.76 meters off of closing this one out with 4 minutes of time left. And now Cloud9, can they continue this pace?
That was so close. When they'd invested the nano blade onto Gods, and then it went wrong for them, and they ended up wiping in return, or almost wiping. A meter was the difference there between being able to stabilize and losing with a huge amount of time still in the bank for Hammers. Roolf's actually made the switch as well over to Zen for this final portion, so there won't be any nano blades coming up, but much more defensive ult for them.
There we go, Earthshadow though. Both Reinhardt's going to have it available here, and I'm curious to see who's going to be able to, or who's going to be the first, right? Who's going to be the first person to try to make it come down? You can see KAISER off to the side, trying to play a little bit of a different position, trying to speed him through, and the speed does come through. He catches onto 2, but ChrisTFer turns around, hits his own Earthshadow, connects onto Surefour with the Fire Strike, and just like that, they pick up 4 kills. Can Hammer still do this with 3 minutes left?
xepheR is the only person alive here on less than 20 health. Hammers are going to ride this one forwards. 3 minutes, 42 seconds left as Hammers absolutely slam that one home.
Look at those cheeky smiles out of them.
They've got to be so happy with this performance. In the latter portion of today, they have turned on. They've come alive. They're looking a little stressed there, Surefour.
To be fair to Cloud9, I know they are ridiculously tired because of jet lag. They flew in, I think, on Wednesday. And most of the players are 9 hours behind our time, so they're definitely messed up for them.
It's definitely late right now.
But I also don't want to take away from the performance out of Hammer. I mean, to be fair, they played fantastic there. Had great responses to Gods, you pointed out. Fischer did a fantastic job on the Zarya as well. ChrisTFer was able to go toe-to-toe with KAISER.
Yeah, there's not many people you can say that about, is that KAISER's such a smart Reinhardt when he plays these situations. But there, I mean, he got past ChrisTFer and hit the Earth Shatter, but Fischer is self-shielded, and so he wasn't able to get the knockdown on the Zarya. Managed to get the knockdown onto Nesh and Snizzlenose, but the follow-up just wasn't quite there, and it was almost like ChrisTFer was baiting his own team to be able to get the massive Earth Shatter off that he really needed as soon as KAISER went for the follow-up.
That's what I say in ranked whenever my team gets Earth Shatter because I run past the enemy Reinhardt. It's like, guys, I was just baiting them for you. Except we lose the fight and then everyone leaves.
I'm sure there's only a small difference between the cohesion in your ranked games and here.
Bronze, man. There's a lot of cohesion there, I swear. It's the best world. Here we go. Now Cloud9 going to be back on the attack here with only 1 minute and 44 seconds to go. Let's see. They're going to be pulling off the standard kind of dive composition. xepheR going to be back onto the D.Va and KAISER on the Winston.
Exact same situation as we saw the first time. Hammers were able to hold fairly strong off the back of a couple of hooks from Snizzlenose, but they did give it up in the end. He needs to be hitting some key targets if they want the advantage in the fight. They're trying to focus him down though. Massive amount of damage coming into him. Took a breather there. His health's still reasonably good as Cloud9 posture, poke, but haven't quite committed yet.
You see Nesh, they're going for the chase on a Surefour. I don't think he has his recall available anymore. Be very careful. Now Gods. Wait, Gods Dragon Blading in. He does get 2 kills, which is actually going to be just enough because he gets the support, he gets Snizzlenose down, and they realize the urgency of getting capture onto this point.
That was such a fast Dragon Blade coming out from him as well. Shaz still hadn't got his ultimate up. And if you're getting your Dragon Blade faster than an Ana with a tank composition is getting a nano boost, you're doing something right. That tempo Dragon Blade coming up huge for Gods.
All right, now with 30 seconds remaining, we have to see how much progress they could potentially get here in the second phase. I mean, if you're hammering the situation, you have to be so careful because if you let one of these fights slip, you're going to not only lose an inch, you're going to lose a mile, and they're going to continue to snowball this against you, especially with the way Adam's been playing and really monitoring his team and the enemy team's ultimates. But Gods, like you said, using the Dragon Blade before, won't have that available, won't have the opportunity to take high ground away. The team will be sticking together for the most part, and now Fischer with the Graviton Surge could be what they need.
Big support ultimates available here. Adam and Roolf positioning really passively so that they know that they can survive if this happens. The Graviton comes in, but they somehow manage to burst through the support heals that were coming out from Roolf and the sound barrier from Adam. Hammers have only got a couple of players alive, but ChrisTFer's pounding damage into everyone with his mighty hammer as Thor comes through, wrecking Thunder. But Hammer's still fighting against the spawners here. Looks like they've invested in a fight that they are going to lose in the end.
They commit a grab, they commit a pulse bomb, even a nano boost in there, and it just does not work out. Now Fischer being forced to switch back over to, over to the Winston here. And Cloud9 looking on the attack. I mean, Gods is going to have his blade up again. This is where things get really dangerous because there's going to be no transcendence to stop him. Yes, you're going to have that sound barrier, but we've seen already how quickly you can burst through this one, especially with Surefour there to back him up.
It's getting dangerous territory now. Hammers do have a lot of time in the bank, but this is a very long push for Cloud9.
Wait, he died jumping in. He didn't even get booped off. He just died because he took so much damage jumping from that position.
The focus fire is so excellent from Cloud9. God still has his Dragon Blade available up top onto Shaz immediately. Put to sleep! What an unbelievable sleep dart from Shaz, and that's going to knock people off the cart as well.
Wait.
Cloud9.
Did Cloud9 just pull
I think they just
Cloud9?
I think they just Cloud9 lulled.
Oh.
I genuinely think that was one of those situations, though. I think they got so caught up in the fact that they had ults and were going to be able to use them that they looked like there was about 3 players around the cart there, and they just kind of left it. I mean, the POV wasn't on it, right? We don't know the full context of the situation, but it definitely did look like they ignored the objective for a second, focused on winning the fight instead, but you got to have your attention split both ways. Nonetheless, that was a fantastic sleep dart coming out from Shaz.
I don't even need to look at Twitch chat to know what's being said here.
I wonder what it is.
They're saying Cloud9.
Do you think, here's the thing though, do you think it actually is a recurring issue or is it just confirmation bias? You know, like if any team had a meme about this, it would get brought up every time, you know?
It's just a meme.
Yeah, it's not
a thing.
It's not a terrible problem for them.
Yeah. But I don't know what happened at the end of that payload, but
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
didn't
considering
really
how
see.
long they were in overtime, if you're off for a split second, then the overtime will just take away.
That is absolutely true as well. The overtime, the bar cuts down massively once you've been in it for any considerable period of time. And Hammers, I mean, Cloud9 definitely got a huge amount of room there. 4 points, 100 meters, but Hammers have got 3.5 minutes. That's a massive amount of time.
Bishop was telling me earlier, actually, when I came in, and he was sitting here watching OGL with KAISER, saying they call that the burning rope.
The burning rope.
Like,
I like
Korean
it.
castles, because it's just burning down like Mission Impossible. I like it.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a new thing, I swear.
It's very visual.
But Hammer going for a pick comp yet again, running the triple tank, not any sort of dive composition. Snizzle's been very on point with his hook so far today.
He has, but last time Nesh got around behind and picked Roolf as well, which was huge for them. They've got 3 minutes to be able to break this, but you gotta think the Cloud9 are gonna be playing a little more passively this time.
I mean, you can see Surefour switch over to Soldier, so not playing the Trace this time, so he can provide a little bit more support for his teammates. But Fischer already gets that initial kill onto KAISER, most importantly. Now xepheR, you see him trying to focus on quite a few different targets. Roolf going to be playing inside this build. He's actually kind of left alone at the moment. Surefour's just going to trail in from behind. He actually gets hooked in last second. He's just trying to help out a teammate, but he survives with the help of xepheR and the defense matrix.
Yeah, that defense matrix absolutely crucial in nullifying that. There goes a nano boost as well from Roolf. I'm not quite sure who that ended up going onto, but it doesn't matter because they've all died anyway. Cloud9 investing ultimates, or just the one actually, but that nano boost could end up being fairly crucial. Hammers didn't really have to pop too much there, just the sound barrier to be able to get this point. And now that they're starting to roll, they got some big ults. If they can catch people in a graviton, they can start to get this moving.
I think that nano boost was used on a Surefour just to keep him alive against Nesh. And then think Roolf was like reloading there for a second, and he kind of got caught off guard and wasn't able to get the healing up because he got pressured too much. But in the meantime, we do see the payload moving. I have to correct myself, it's from Hearthstone, not from, I mean, it's the same thing as Mission Impossible in the intro sequence, but it's also Hearthstone with the burning rope. Either way, attack vibes me pop. Fischer does have the Garrote Surge, but doesn't want to use it just yet. It's a little bit too far away, and ChrisTFer gets the charge kill onto KAISER. This payload's contested for now, so he's buying a lot of time here for Cloud9, but they're losing quite a few people. And keep in mind, this is a very crucial game here. If Hammers can take like at least one map against Cloud9, that means Misfits have to win at a minimum of 3-1 if Hammers take no other maps tomorrow in their match versus Movistar Riders.
Unbelievable pressure for Misfits. If they see Hammers winning at all across this, they are going to be devastated because there's a strong chance that they're just going to be eliminated in fourth. And this is a team that would not expect it. Here comes a Graviton as well. Hammers with the execution. See if the follow-up's there. Managed to get the stick onto KAISER and he goes down, but the reply is definitely there. They've used two of their ultimates.
Moving still though. He's still sticking to it.
They have to be able to block this one as well. xepheR's been pinned. Hammers are losing so many players though. Cloud9 eventually going to come out on top in the fight. And they had to use the Graviton in that situation. So it's a decent chance for Cloud9 to reset with 1 minute on the clock. They're starting to get key ultimates up themselves. 2 support ults and the Earth Shatter available for Cloud9 with 50 seconds on the clock. Looking much better for them now.
And Surefour actually in a really great position here on the Tracer above the entrance or where they come out of. Posing castle size, actually just attacking from the back. He's got a post bomb available to go to as xepheR's trying to maintain control of the high ground. And I'm pointing this out because if somehow Surefour can get this kill, then that will shut down this entire push. And they have really no time to work with off the back of that. Now Gods is going to get the charge kill onto tomzeY. And it looks like ChrisTFer's just going to take a stroll away from the team. They're actually going to kill themselves because they want another fight.
Instant reset there, 23 seconds on the clock. They have to be able to respawn and get back up there. They didn't like the way that fight was looking. To be fair to them, they forced out both support ultimates. Absolutely massive. If they can re-engage here and somehow dodge KAISER's Earth Shatter, they've got a decent chance. If ChrisTFer can hit one of his own, even better.
No pressure, ChrisTFer. I mean, he's going to actually have a lot of pressure because xepheR can launch a self-destruct behind him, which forces him to turn. You can see KAISER sit on the high ground, just actually waiting for a chance to throw down this shatter.
There they go, Ryan v Ryan. Self-destruct in the background as well. He manages to catch both supports there. ChrisTFer doing massive work for the team. KAISER at no point even seemed like he had an ability, an opportunity, any kind of window to use that ultimate, the powerful ultimate that possibly would have won this one for C9, but it's Hammers that drive it home. The hammer down on Eichenwald. What a performance from the Europeans. Stability, especially with Gods recently having stepped up his performance, but Surefour is definitely the star of the show on the xepheR. Along with xepheR, to be honest, I feel like people haven't been talking enough about this guy's D.Va because it is excellent. This LAN in particular, he's been playing lights out D.Va play.
Yeah, he really has, and now we're going to get to see a little bit of a showing out of Surefour here, as he's able to force Shaz back just a little bit here, trying to not give him any sight lines to get these Discord orbs up. But you can already see they've been put on a Surefour plenty of times. And the D.Va play out of Snizzlenose, switching from the Roadhog to D.Va, is limiting a lot of damage he can do, but Shaz is getting very low on HP, and he tries to knock him into a rocket here, and Shaz is just somehow still alive. The Deuce is coming on to xepheR, and as Surefour is being pushed.
One of the reasons why this composition is so good on City Center is that you can keep Surefour healed up while Adam plays in a much more safe position. Fischer's been found in the back line, or Fischer's found him rather, in the back line though, and taking him down when he was on 94%. Here comes a barrage as well. Pops out the sound barrier to try and return. That's a big investment of an ultimate there for Hammers. It looks like they're not going to be able to take the point either.
Oh, well, just to be talking about that, Snizzlenose picks up the kill on a Surefour, who actually had his barrage in that fight too, but you can already see the stall tactics and why City Center can be so difficult for teams, as Gods is finally going to go down, but the res is going to come in. He catches Gods back up and ready to go. We're not seeing Gods with the pulse bomb. I think he actually had it earlier in the fight, because he's only at 40% currently, but there's going to be the blade coming out of Fischer.
Fischer with the blade, finding a lot of value out of that one. Did the damage to Adam as well. He's been taken out. The res just on a single target, because they wanted just to take that fight. And Roolf has not been able to charge up his sound barrier yet, whereas tomzeY popped it off a long while ago. That was all the first fight, though. This city center, very difficult to flip over. Really large point of contention, and a huge ability to stall with a lot of the compositions that are really popular, including the xepheR Mercy. So It's only just gone over in Hammer's favor.
I really like Adam's reses so far, actually, because we see a lot of people, you know, in ranks, you know, Mercy mains, whatever, try to save the reses for like 5-man reses. Instead, he reses 1 or 2 at a time, but he makes sure to do it at such a critical time where they know they can turn the tides of the fight.
You're not going to get play of the game like that, though, are you?
I mean, I'd rather not get play of the game and win a match any day.
Absolutely.
People in ranks, you know how they are.
Adam getting pressure down on the back. ChrisTFer and a lot of damage onto him. Surely going to be able to pick up the kill. Adam does fall, and God's got caught by the self-destruct as well. Cloud9 getting picked apart a little bit here by Hammer's composition. And when we were talking to some of the European players, they said that this xepheR Mercy comp that's been so popular in North America, they didn't think would work as well over against the European teams because, one, the Zenyatas are really quite excellent, and 2, they end up pressuring the Mercy massively. Well, so far, that's proved to be effective.
God's got stuck, and he actually recalled, so the pulse bomb wouldn't kill him. Really good play. A really good showing of individual skill, but there you go, Surefour.
One
just
rocket.
Like the Zenyatta right-click, just connecting Nesh around the corner as he walks around the corner, more importantly. Another barrage is almost ready to go. You can see Shaz just trying to stay safe here, and they're finally putting pressure towards this man, trying to force him back away, trying to limit the damage he really can do. But that barrage, it's now up. It's ready to go. KAISER's even turning in to help him out, trying to help out with, I believe that was tomzeY. The res come in onto Gods yet again.
Yeah, tempo res comes out, single target once again as Adam uses his redirect. Sound barrier has been forced out of tomzeY here, and they're still finding a couple of the kills. This point, though, so difficult to flip over. Even though they're getting the better end of this fight, Hammer's still in control. They've managed to take it up to overtime. They don't have to worry too much about flipping it over. If they can charge their ultimates, they're in a decent position for the next 100 seconds to be able to take this back. Well, Cloud9 are not going to give it up easily, not going to give it lightly. And Surefour does a lot of damage if he's just shooting straight into choke points.
To be fair, though, City Center is definitely one of those maps that can go 99-0 and then flip to 100-0 or 100-99, just because of how hard it is to really kill everyone off that point towards the end. Gods gonna be taken out by Nesh from behind, not really expecting that one, and now Surefour is looking for, again, another way to pull off a potential attack here with the help of Roolf. Able to get that kill on a Fischer. The chance can be popped on a Shaz to keep his teammates healthy. Nesh, they're gonna pop that post bomb down and not connect, it looks like, but Surefour gonna at least take him out of the equation for now. And it looks like Cloud9 will be able to hold even further.
They traded support ultimates there, and tomzeY's still building up his sound barrier. There goes the self-destruct, not going to find too much there. Cloud9 staying in control of this one pretty well. They didn't really have to invest anything other than that single support ultimate. Surefour in the skies, really happy to do whatever he wants. Fischer needs to get some value out of this Dragon Blade, I think. If he's able to take down Adam, maybe even Surefour, it's a massive ask for him. But if he can do it, they have a potential to flip this one over. They might just try for another couple of dry pushes, though, because Cloud9 have got a massive ult bank here.
Yeah, I mean, considering they used their trance in the last fight, too, you're going to need that ultimate up to really make this work. But we're going to see Fischer go in, so it's not going to be a dry run. He's looking for something to really connect off the back of this blade, and Adam's already very low in HP. He's going to go down to Nesh, as Gods is going to turn that kill on himself onto the enemy team. And the barrage is not really going to do much of anything, to be honest. But at least zones him away from the point from a little bit.
They're all so weak on Cloud9. Adam's on 90%, but he's only just getting there, connecting with the rest of his team. He might just about have it in the end of the fight, bring back some key targets, but Surefour's been taken down. Adam still doesn't have his resurrect, but Gods is going ham on the point. On Tracer, already taken down tomzeY. Fischer falls as well. It's getting up to 99-99. This is going to be an overtime fight, it looks like.
Yeah, 100%. Adam now has his res too, so he can afford to sit back and wait for the 5-man res if he does need it. But the problem is Hammer have no ults to really use for this. You have Fischer switch from the Genji over to the Soldier, and now with Shaz down, they've lost a major healer.
And that double hit scan going to be fairly effective against Adam. Lots of pressure onto him, but Rolf's fragging out. He used his sound barrier at the beginning to make sure that this fight stayed alive. Adam with the res as well. Only picks up Gods, but that might be all it needs. This is into overtime, and Hammers are getting slowly poked down. They have to try and get onto the point, but they're so predictable with their positioning because they have to contest. And Cloud9 with their xepheR Mercy Tracer composition are bringing it to them. That's 1-0 on the board for Oasis.
Pretty funny, actually, that every res Adam used was for Gods and Gods only.
It was, yeah. They really, I mean, I don't know whether they were prioritizing him towards the end or whether it was just because he was the guy who died at the beginning of the fight, but it certainly seemed like throughout the majority of that game, they just wanted him up all the time. Maybe that is because he's tying up Nesh so much that they don't want Nesh to be able to focus on peppering the xepheR Mercy and seeing if he can apply pressure to Adam. If they keep Gods constantly up in the fight, Nesh is forced to deal with him all the time, and he has to look at the floor instead of at the skies.
Maybe. I mean, it does give Surefour a lot more freedom as well, but we're seeing hang on.
Yeah, this is interesting. Fischer, I have
On
not seen
Reaper.
him play Reaper.
I have not seen Reaper in forever.
I have not seen Reaper on this map at all. I mean, it's an assault kind of niche pick, but certainly there's a lot of fighting that happens in close quarters. He hasn't had his lifesteal buff yet.
Yeah, and they're trying to force these fights to be close quarters as well. You can see him constantly hammering into this position. He has his Reinhardt to protect him in the front. You have the Roadhog as well. So they have a lot of damage with these shotguns, but the problem is they're not really getting the kills, and they're actually just falling one by one. Nesh, tomzeY all going down. Now Shaz getting very low on HP, and Shizzle's not really able to hit any decent hooks, it seems.
No, they didn't quite get what they were looking for there, I don't think. Maybe they expected Cloud9 to be playing more of a tanky composition, like a Reinhardt-centric one with KAISER, xepheR either on the D.Va or the Zarya. But instead, Cloud9 going for what we've seen them on for the majority of this tournament, a Winston, D.Va, Genji, Tracer dive comp. And they're not going to engage you, they're just going to poke you. And if you want to come out and contest, by all means, go and do it. So now Fischer swapped.
The Discord orb plus a couple of shots. Roolf was able to finish that one off here. The pulse bomb actually is going to pick up a kill onto tomzeY. I think he got booped into that one, or at least got shoved in that direction. And Cloud9, well, they did use a lot of ultimates there, to be fair, at least 3. But they still get a clean wipe. They're now up to 50% here in a few seconds.
Yeah, 3 ultimates used there, but Surefour's charge is so fast, especially when he's playing into 3 tanks like this, that I think they can afford to do that. They're going to have the sound barrier for, if not this fight, potentially the next one, but Hammers have got both of theirs active. If they can get some damage out of these nano boost, but it's used onto ChrisTFer, and they're all just kiting him away. Surefour manages to dodge the charge as well. No pin coming out from ChrisTFer like we saw in the previous map. Cloud9 asserting dominance here on University.
I mean, Hammers have been unable to even touch the point since they first initially lost that fight. Cloud9 really wanted to hold up close and personal. Look at Surefour. He's going to be sneaky. He's got his pulse bomb up ready to go too. I wonder if he's going to catch it on.
See if he can take down one of the tanks. Yeah. If he can get a stick here onto basically anybody, I'll give them a really good start onto this fight. He's managed to find them. They went the complete opposite way, but now they're stuck in a tiny little area. That one takes down ChrisTFer, did a huge amount of damage to a lot of the rest of them. Gods is coming in with the Dragon Blade as well. This is a cleanup. Janitor duty here for Gods. He's got a broomstick, not a sword, and he's taking them out, cleaning them up. The trash into the bin. And that is 2-0. Hammers have got to start coming back from this, and the next one's going to be Gardens. It's very difficult. If they were going to win any of the stages, I feel like it had to be University.
I want to know what kind of childhood you had that you're more scared of a broom than a sword. Like, come on. How were you getting beat with broomsticks?
I just had to use them, you know?
Oh, okay.
As a little child, you'd rather be given a sword than a broomstick, right?
That's true.
If someone gives you a broomstick, it means you have to do chores. I'm just scared of them in that sense. Don't hand me a broomstick. I feel like I have to do real work.
Timo, production, do we have a broomstick? I'm just curious to see if it'll bring back any flashbacks of, Mommy, no, I don't want to clean.
We could have a sword fight with broomsticks.
Anyways, moving on to Garden, like you said.
This is the kind of stage where we see the Pharah Mercy Tracer compositions from a lot of teams, actually. Really powerful here. D.Va incredibly impactful. And Surefour, if he's allowed to be let loose, is going to be on a field day. Hammer's reply to this is going to be to run double hit scan plus the Zenyatta and play kind of clumped up, defend Nesh, see if they can get the picks on the Mercy or the Pharah really quickly.
I'm liking the McCree though. We haven't seen too much of it throughout the 2 days, but I'm always a big fan of McCree, and Nesh is able to take KAISER down. That flashbang can be so impactful, especially running like a dive comp, which not necessarily doing just yet, but they have Gods who has to play extra careful now and even more aware of what could be coming his way. Fischer, don't go down to this. Oh, Surefour connects the rocket from long range, and Nesh is the one to clip the kill into Gods.
Looked like
no one's point just yet.
Yeah, it looked like the fight was going really well for them. And now they have finally managed to take it there. I like this adaptation on the fly from Hammers. It looks like they... I don't know whether this is really a crafted composition that they've put too much time into. Otherwise, I feel like they would have probably tried to run it on City Center as well. But this is definitely a good adaptation. Oh, the barrage comes in. ChrisTFer can't quite get his shield up in time. Surefour with the damage-boosted rockets. Just raining death from above. That's going to allow them a nicer entry onto this point. tomzeY forced to use his sound barrier as well. They really want to commit to this and hold on.
I remember actually watching this match versus LG Evil out of Cloud9, and every time Surefour was able to take Jake down in the 1v1 fair, actually it's 2v2 fair battles, And xepheR is just putting on a show for us as well of how to play fair here on Oasis. The high noon going to be coming out of Nesh. Not sure exactly from what direction, but I don't really see him potentially picking up any kills. Actually, you can see he didn't get a single one.
Very difficult ultimate to be able to get actual kills out of, or results in that sense. Good for zoning, but not much else. Here comes the res as well. So all of Hammer's hard work there undone with a single click of the Q. Adam brings everybody up. Had pretty good tempo reses, has a nice nice feel for it. He's a very good support, as well as doing a lot of the calling for this team. Cloud9 so far have looked very good. Looking like they're going to be crisply replying to Hammer's early lead in the series.
Have you played fair in this position before, personally? Because that position annoys me for some reason playing fair. Because if you use your jetpack, you don't actually recharge even though you're standing there. I don't know what it is. But you have to like jump up just to recharge a little bit for people, I guess. You know.
It does allow you to stay out of any kind of poke until they've already committed to the point. In comes a self-destruct from Snizzlenose. Doesn't really catch anybody, but make xepheR and Adam move away just for the moment. Adam doesn't have his resurrect up either. That concussion blast kind of missed. They were aiming to juggle ChrisTFer out of position and send a self-destruct in behind him. The barrage comes in, seeing if they can get it onto Fischer. He managed to escape with a recall, but Adam got the health back as well, so no harm, no foul on either side.
And somehow Adam is just not seeming to die. They don't really have the focus fire. It's only on to Fischer with the Tracer to be the one to pick up the kill, and Shizzle gets himself a jetpack kill. I don't even know what you call it. I don't even know what D.Va shift is called off the top of my head. Onto Gods. And Adam with the res is available, but not going to be popping it off just yet. Wants to make sure to hold it on a little bit longer since the map won't be over. What's it called? D.Va shift.
The D.Va jetpack.
Is it D.Va? Is it just jetpack?
Do you know what? You're putting me on the spot, and I
mean, I know most ability names, but that one I never remember.
Well, you don't have to talk about it too much, though, do you?
Right, I'm gonna look it up. I'm determined.
You have an inquisitive mind. That's the sign of
it's not my fault. It goes back to League of Legends days with Quick Shot, who would say every ability name ever in League, and there's like 100 and something champions in that game.
Oh, Cloud9 have now taken the lead. The boosters, of course. Killed with the booster bump. Cloud9 have taken the lead here, and they have a lot of ultimates to use as well. Both support ults. Here's the high noon coming out from Nesh, seeing if he can get anything out of that, but Sound Barrier returned. There he was. But he's taking a big rocket to the face, and that's going to force out a Transcendence from Hammers as well. They've got a couple of ultimates to use, but so difficult to get value out of them.
Well, you can see KAISER trying to go in on a ChrisTFer who's already low in HP, but somehow he's still been kept alive here. But it doesn't matter, the kills are still going the way of Hammer Esports, who are going to turn the point. They're going to be able to capitalize off this and pick it up. And God's just going to suicide, but 99 to 70%. Cloud9 have still quite a few ultimates to use, and more importantly, out of those two they have that res.
Kill yourself, xepheR. Oh, he wasted a little bit of time there, but Cloud9 only need one turnaround, so they're not going to feel too bad about that. It was actually Fischer that did an incredible job of picking Adam while the fight was still going on, so they weren't able to res in that. If they hadn't found the pick on Adam, I don't think that fight would have gone their way. One resurrect and all of the Hammer's kills are just reset instantly. Well, Cloud9 have got it for this next fight, though, along with the barrage, but in about 90% of situations, you're better off not using a barrage most of the time.
Yeah, pretty much. The Earthshatter is going to be available for ChrisTFer, which you can see the high ground position out of Cloud9 are trying to use this to stay out of vision. KAISER's going to get knocked down. Fischer picks up the kill. Remember, Adam still has res. God's going to go down as well, so they're actually baiting out a lot of ultimates here. But Adam got picked up by Nesh. I'm not sure how that happened. He just plucked him out of the sky, and that's just solidified the map here as Hammers.
The flashbang.
Pull one back on Oasis.
The flashbang kill for style points as well at the end. He picks Roolf out of the air, duck hunting, and then the flashbang kill onto the barraging Farah towards the end. Great play by Nesh. The Nesh and Fischer both utilizing that double hit scan to focus down Adam towards the end. They have to play one more stage.
Oh man, xepheR looks so tired.
He looks out of it.
I know he's sick, but he's also really tired at the same time because of the jet lag.
Hammer's on the other side, ultra focused. This is their opportunity to take maps and secure their third place spot in Group B. When they were coming in, their expectations weren't too high. You know, they realized that they'd played in the qualifiers. They're not normally considered amongst the absolute elite in Europe. The fact that they were potentially the weakest team coming into this tournament speaks to the massive depth of talent that we've got here at TakeOver 2 as well. But back here, no sneaky Reaper coming out from Fischer this time. Only once he's going to try it.
Yeah, going to be using the D.Va here. He's going to get a lot of damage. I don't know, I still want to see Fischer on DPS because I feel like he really excels in that situation, but I mean, D.Va, as you can see, with xepheR playing it pretty much exclusively, except maybe Zarya once. in every match they've had shows the true power that she does have.
Cloud9 taking a lot of position fairly early on. They got the ability to peel a huge amount of damage coming into xepheR there. They've managed to get the D-Mech. That's going to be pivotal as well. Hammer's able to come around the back. They've got the kill on the gods. And this is all going their way. One small switch up. They're getting control of the point early on. And this could be the return for Hammers Esports. They would have to pull off the reverse sweep to be able to do it, but they're looking improved now.
Does it pain you to say reverse sweep? Because it reminds you of a broom? I'm just curious. No, I mean, the thing is, if Hammers do pull it off, then again, Misfits are even in more of a worse situation.
Yeah.
And again, we'll try to touch on it a little bit later on. Nesh just somehow planned that one on the ground, and Adam just running over it does get taken down. And it looks like they're just going to pull off the reset here, trying to back off. So Hammers invest, what, a pulse bomb? And defend an entire attack at Cloud9.
Yeah, I think xepheR thought that he had caught it inside of his defense matrix, and Adam, instead of backing off, kind of walked into it there. And Cloud9 nicely decide to reset. They're keeping their ultimates up. It's a good job they didn't decide to commit to that fight. Surefour in, pulse bomb. Did that actually get onto the shield though? Because ChrisTFer's still on full health. They've still got the sound barrier as well. They've been very good, Cloud9 in general, forcing out support ultimates without having to use ults of their own and then going in afterwards. But it's actually Roolf who starts this one off. Quick reply from Shaz though.
Yeah, I think Shaz is actually being pressured from this one, but now Gods is like, all right, well, you have no transcendence, you have no support ultimate except tomzeY, who's not going to use it after they've lost already quite a few people. Just easy pickings for this man. And Cloud9 will be able to turn the point back in just a few seconds. Yeah, Fischer is going to be desuited and picked off here. Now Cloud9 have the chance to maintain this point. We saw what they did before. They just completely locked them out in their own spawn, and they only had a sliver of a chance at the end where they had one person touch the point while the rest of his team was already dead.
Cloud9 definitely played excellently on University. When they were in control of the point, they didn't slip up at any point. Cloud9 in general actually have had really good ultimate usage. A great knowledge of what the other team has, but also utilizing their own and getting a huge amount of value out of it. Surefour deciding where he wants to lay the pulse bomb. Doesn't quite get the stick onto ChrisTFer. In fact, I don't think that really did as much damage as he was hoping as well. ChrisTFer laid out his Earth Shadow, but the follow-up not quite there as well, and he's the one that pays for it. The first casualty in this fight. Hammer's not looking great to start this off, but they've still got a lot of time to recontest.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if the Earth Shadow hit anything. I think he maybe hit a wall in that indirectly, and as Surefour's pulse bomb came down, even with the discorded Reinhardt, it just didn't really do all that much damage at all. But they still hold on. Cloud9, they use quite a few ultimates again to maintain the position, but Gods almost has his blade ready to go, and Shaz, 70%. It is doable for him to get his Transcendence up before Gods gets the blade off, but it's still going to be tough.
I think they should probably just poke and wait for it as well. Cloud9 have Gods and Roolf approaching close, unless they can get a really early pick, either with a Shaz putting up some Orbs of Destruction, charging them up, or Snizzlenose with a hook. I think they're in a fairly bad position. Oh, there was Snizzlenose just for a second, but Surefour, he's a little too wily, and in comes the ultimates from Cloud9.
Transcendence being popped off here. God's not going to get any kills with this one, but Surefour, even pulse bomb coming through. It looks like it missed out, unfortunately. So no kills coming from that Transcendence and from all those ultimates, and yet the point hasn't been captured. KAISER, I thought he got stuck with that one, but it looks like he didn't. Gods gets the kill to Shaz, gets a second on tomzeY. These dash resets are doing God's work for them. Chris was finally able to shut him down, but you still see kill feed going all blue. And Hammer, I think that's going to be it. 90%. I mean, yeah, they're going to be able to touch the point, but they're not going to have a clean fight at all.
No, on Cloud9, if they play aggressively here and try and deny position, they're going to have Adam's ultimate to work with. I think because they don't have the ultimates to fall back on if it goes south for them, they're going to stay a little more passive. 8 players in. Shaz tried to go Sombra there, make sure that they could get back onto the point, start the overtime, taken down immediately, and Cloud9 just feasting on their opponents. Already up 2-1. If they take this stage, they're going to win the map, and it looks all but inevitable as Fischer's the only guy left anywhere near. Pops off that self-destruct, but that's going to be that. And Cloud9, they take Oasis 3-1.
You can see just exhaustion settling in on Cloud.